Alright, this is a demo of the Texture Genie, which goes with Terrain Genie. Um, and basically it's for color in the terrain. So it'll actually work on any terrain you provide with it, but since I made the Terrain Genie for it, I guess that's what we'll use. So the first step would be to, and keep in mind this is a previous version of Terrain Genie, different than the one that I just showed you. And this is just a prototype, so there are still bugs and problems and stuff. But the basic idea is the same. We came in, we created a terrain there, and so we'll zoom back where we can see it. And then, using the Terrain Genie here, we can go ahead and generate a terrain with those settings. Notice they're much better laid out now than they were. So now that we got a terrain, we'll just work with this one for a minute. And this is the concept. We want to color this map in. So what we need to do is come add some textures. So currently I believe this version only does 4. It might do more, but so the way to think about it is layers, like in Photoshop, and you want to do your bottom layers first. So we'd probably want some basic rock or such, so we'll just pick a basic rock there. So for texture one's a rock, and of course they'll be able to use any images, but typically that's the idea. So it leaves the base image down there, so we're going to add a couple more. We'll come in, and the next layer we want some dirt on top of our rock, so add some good dirt there. And then we want to add a little bit of grass, so we're going to add another one, and we'll add in some grass. So there's our grass, and one more, we'll add in some snow just to show you the idea behind it. And instead of that snow, I'm actually going to use some sand, just because it works a little better. So, but you'll get the idea. So now what we need to do is just open our Texture Genie window, and we'll dock it over here. And so you'll notice we have our original band, which is the second opacity. So that'd be that second image there, and we have an upper band and a lower band height. So this is basically set to the defaults of the bottom of the map to the top of the map. And so when I click the apply textures, it's going to apply that second texture to everything from the bottom of the map to the top of the map. So we'll apply that texture, and so pretty much like the default image, it's applied to the whole thing now. But what we can also do is come up, and so we had that base rock that we wanted down there on the ground, but we want that to be on the sides, not on the ground here. So what we can do is come up and lower our band here so that it doesn't cover it up, and we can bring that down. And so now you'll notice that we're back to our original rock color for those, and then our ground is terrained with dirt. And so you can actually adjust that. If you wanted a little bit less dirt for maybe a rockier area, you could raise the bottom, and so the more you raise it, the less area will be covered by it. You could put another water band if you wanted and fill those in with water. So what we can do now is let's go ahead and move this back down, and we'll get more dirt. So we'll just say the bottom of the map is going to be dirt, and then it's just about up to the edges. If we zoom in, we can see it's about right up to the edges, so that looks pretty good to me. So now we want to go ahead and put some grass down maybe, so we'll add another texture band. And so when we add that, that'll put another one down here, and so this layout has to be done a little bit different, obviously. But we've got the second texture band, so this band will be applied on top of the first texture band, default from the bottom of the map to the top of the map. And we got our second image, which is that one. And that's not the one we want. We actually want to put our third texture on, because we're going to lay some grass. So we know that we're not going to want it from the bottom of the map, because if we've applied this texture, it's going to cover everything with grass, and that's not quite what we want. So we want to raise that bottom up a little bit. And then the other thing we're going to want to do is come down here and drop a little bit less texture. And so now we've got a little bit of grass to go with our dirt if we want. And then also some of the other things that I'm working on, and I can't really show you at this point because it's just not quite ready, is the slopes and the steepness of the slope. Instead of just the upper band and height band giving this, you'll be able to color in terrain based on how steep that slope is. And so that feature is not shown here. But we could go ahead, and if you had like snow caps you wanted to put on top of the mountains or whatnot, then you can go ahead and come over and add another band that'll be applied on top of those two bands. And so this one we're going to go ahead and raise it way up to the top of the map because we just want the top of the mountains. We're going to change it from our second texture back up to our fourth texture, which is that light colored sand, and then we can apply those texture bands and see where we're at. So you can see we would have a snow texture on top of our mountains there. And so when I was talking about the map packs we're going to be selling, the first two packs of 10, the 20, will be unshaded, and we'll get those going and get them out and see how people respond. And then the other two packs of 20, I'm going to do colored in maps, base colored maps, and with this tool once I get it ready, and see how people respond to those. And then based on, you know, if we're selling the map packs, shoot, we'll just create more map packs for a while and then release these two tools later. If the map packs don't do so good, or if we just want to or whatever, we can go ahead and part with the tools as well. So those are the ideas I have. As far as logos go, I don't have anything in particular. As you can tell, it's not so much involved with the inventory system, so we don't have to theme against that. Any ideas you have, maybe some rough drafts or whatever. As I said, the tools will be called Texture Genie and Terrain Genie. So I don't know if you want to work that into the map pack logo or how you want to do that. And at some point we'll need those, but I don't guess we really need them to get them out in the store. Included with these two videos, I'm going to send you some links to the documentation for image size for submitting to the asset store. You're going to need to use either Photoshop or GIMP. GIMP is free on the internet. I found it a little troubling to use, but I figured it out, and they give you templates that you can use in those two programs for the images. So those are some ideas. If you have any questions, you'll be able to shoot me a notification, and talk to you later.